World War II was a crucible of innovation and desperation, giving birth to some of the most audacious plans in history. But not all of them succeeded. Let's uncover 5 such ambitious World War II schemes that either ended in failure or remained forever unrealized. Operation Bernhard, the Nazi plan to counterfeit millions in British banknotes. Operation Bernhard was the Nazi mission to flood wartime Britain with hundreds of millions of counterfeit pound notes. The initiative was orchestrated by SS Major Bernhard Kruger, who led the SS department falsifying passports and other legal diplomatic documents. Kruger organized a top-secret printing operation in the Sachsenhausen concentration camp, made up of specially recruited Jewish prisoners with printing and engraving skills. During the war, on a monthly basis, Operation Bernhard successfully forged more than £1 million in banknotes described as the most dangerous ever seen. Though the Germans never managed to get enough of their fake money into Britain to affect the economy, they used it in a variety of schemes. Fake notes were used to pay spies around the world, and in transactions with foreign governments such as Italy. The famous Turkish spy Elisa Basner, known as Cicero, even filed a lawsuit against the German government for fraudulent payments. At the end of the war, most of the counterfeit currency was dumped into Austria's Lake Toplitz, where it was discovered in 1959. Still, occasional fake British pounds showed up in Britain, prompting the government to redesign all currency with a value of £5 or more. Operation Tannenbaum, a Nazi invasion of Switzerland. Adolf Hitler clearly disliked Switzerland. In 1941, he had reportedly told Mussolini that the Swiss were the mortal enemies of the new Germany. In fact, the Wehrmacht began preparations for an invasion of Switzerland after France surrendered in 1940. In what would have been called Operation Tannenbaum. Despite the creation of plans for such an invasion, and being revisited and revised several times, Hitler never ordered the attack. A specific reason for his decision is still unclear, but Swiss financial concessions that allowed the Germans to obtain hard currencies and military equipment, Swiss prevention of the emigration of Jewish people and other refugees from Germany to Switzerland, continued Nazi access to Swiss railroad routes to Italy and other countries, and the realization that an invasion through the rugged Alpine region, defended by a fully mobilized citizenry that was well-equipped, were all probable factors, especially the latter point. At that time, the Swiss had armed 435,000 citizens with weapons equal to those the Nazis had, and told them never to surrender. Even though he despised Switzerland, Hitler understood the military reality of any invasion, and a two-front war from 1941 made a Swiss invasion an impossibility. Project America, Nazi plans to bomb the US with long-range aircraft. The America Project was an initiative to develop a long-range German bomber capable of attacking the United States. According to Nazi Minister of Armaments and War Production Albert Speer, Hitler was obsessed with bombing New York City. Because of this, German designer Willy Messerschmitt worked on several long-range bomber prototypes. By April of 1942, 3 prototype models were developed: the Heinkel HE-277, Junkers GU-390, and the ME-264, and a plan was formulated to use these aircraft to attack on the United States. Ultimately, Germany was forced to focus on more realistic rocketry and weapons, and so abandoned more resource-intensive projects like the America program and the atomic bomb. None of the prototypes built for the America program were ever used in battle. Operation Long Jump, the plot to assassinate the Big Three in Iran. Operation Long Jump was an alleged Axis plan to assassinate the Allied Big Three of Roosevelt, Stalin, and Churchill at the Tehran Conference of 1943. According to the People's Commissariat for Internal Affairs, known as the NKVD, a Soviet law enforcement agency with ties to its secret police, German intelligence broke an American naval code and learned about a high-level meeting in Tehran, Iran. A plan to kill all three Allied leaders was approved by Hitler and assigned to SS Commando Otto Skorzeny. In 1943, a team of 6 Nazi operatives arrived in Tehran and began transmitting radio messages to Berlin in anticipation of the arrival of Skorzeny and his team. Supposedly, the NKVD had advanced knowledge of the plot from their counterintelligence and arrested the advance team, foiling the plot. Stalin informed his Allied counterparts of the mission at the conference. His assertion was met with skepticism, as the only confirmation came from the Soviets. Operation Felix, the Nazi attack on Gibraltar, an attempt to make Spain an Axis power. After Germany conquered France in the spring of 1940, Hitler turned his attention to the strategic British outpost of Gibraltar on the Iberian Peninsula. Plans, dubbed Operation Felix, were drawn to have 2 Nazi German army corps enter Spain through the Pyrenees and launch a land-based attack on Gibraltar. This operation required the agreement of the Spanish dictator Francisco Franco and Spain's entry into the war as an Axis power. Nazi German officials, including von Ribbentrop and Hitler, met repeatedly with Franco in an attempt to reach an agreement, to no avail. Spain was economically vulnerable after its civil war, and Franco feared Britain would seize Spanish possessions like the Canary Islands and the Azores if Spain entered the war. Franco demanded Hitler invade the British Isles in order for Spain to join the Axis. Privately, Franco believed Germany would lose the war, and thus put ludicrous demands on Hitler as a way of saying no without making any problems. Although Germany considered seizing Gibraltar until 1944, Hitler understood he would never be able to convince Franco to cooperate. Thanks for watching. Put a like and subscribe us for more interesting videos like this.